Hello, dear boys. Today, let us do the fourth chapter of your geography. The name of the topic is air. Boys, air is the general name for the mixture of gases that makes up the Earth's atmosphere. This gas is primarily nitrogen 78% mixed with oxygen 21%, water vapor, argon, carbon dioxide, etc. So now let us see the chapter. Our earth is surrounded by a huge blanket of air called atmosphere. See boys, our earth, the planet where we are living, it is surrounded by a huge blanket of air which is known as atmosphere. All living beings on this earth depend on the atmosphere for their survival. Whatever living beings are present on the earth, they all depend on the atmosphere for their survival. To remain alive, they depend on atmosphere, it means here. It provides us the air we breathe and protects us from the harmful effects of the sun's rays. Here it provides us the air which we breathe and it protects us from the harmful effects of the sun's rays, means this atmosphere, it protects us from the harmful effects of the sun's rays. Without this blanket of protection, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during day and get frozen during night. See, without this blanket protection, without this air blanket, we would be baked alive by the heat of the sun during daytime and get frozen. Frozen means turn into ice as a result of extreme cold during night. So it is this mass of air that has made the temperature on the earth livable. See, in this way, this mass of air which are present in our atmosphere that has made the temperature on the earth fit to live in. Composition of the atmosphere. Let us see what are composed there in the atmosphere, what are present in the atmosphere. Do you know that the air we take in while breathing is actually a mixture of many gases? Boys, do you know the air which we breathe, which we take in while breathing, is actually, it is a mixture of many gases. Several gases are there. Nitrogen and oxygen are two gases which make up the bulk of the atmosphere. Among all these gases, nitrogen and oxygen, these are the two gases which make up the bulk of the atmosphere. These are the two important gases. These are, bulk means the mass or size of gases which is large. So of the atmosphere, carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon and hydrogen are found in lesser quantities. Among those gases, Carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon and hydrogen, they are found in less quantities. They are lesser, okay. Apart from these gases, tiny dust particles are also present in the air. Beyond than these gases, small dust particles, they are present there, okay, in the air. The pie chart gives you the percentage of different constituents of air. Have a look this pie chart, this round figure pie chart, where it indicates a different gases and its percentage. Oxygen, then nitrogen, then all other gases such as argon, okay, carbon dioxide it has mentioned here. So boys, the pie chart gives you the percentage of different constituents of air, which is given in figure 4.1. Nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. Here boys, in the pie chart you can see nitrogen, it is 78%. So this is the most plentiful gas in the air. This is the maximum in quantity, okay. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. The time when we inhale, okay, here we used to take some amount of nitrogen into our lungs and we used to exhale it. Inhale means to take inside, exhale means to bring out. See, boys, here in this page to the left margin, do you know? You have to know this one, boys. You have to read this, which is written here in a sky blue color. So get through this one. This will be helpful for you. But plants need nitrogen for their survival. Here, plants, we find what? Nitrogen is the most plentiful gas in the air. When we inhale, we take some amount of nitrogen. We require nitrogen into our lungs and exhale it. But plants, they need nitrogen for their survival. Plants, they need nitrogen gas for their survival. They cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. Plants, they cannot take nitrogen directly from the air. Bacteria that live in the soil and roots of some plants take nitrogen from the air and change its form so that plants can use it. Bacteria means a member of a large group of unicellular organisms that live in the soil and roots of some plants take nitrogen from the air and they used to change its form so that plants can use it and survive there. Oxygen is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Oxygen, which is 21% in the pie chart, that means you can see here the amount of oxygen which is present in the atmosphere. This is 21%. So it is the second most plentiful gas in the air. Humans and animals take oxygen from the air as they breathe. Human beings and animals, they used to take oxygen from the air at the time when they are breathing. Green plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis. So green plants, they used to produce oxygen at the time of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, it is the process in which plants produce the food in the presence of sunlight. In this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant. So, in this way, oxygen content in the air, it remains constant always. If we cut trees, then this balance gets disturbed. See, balancing, okay, it is very important. See how plants are useful to mankind, okay, and then we the human being, we are survived with the help of these plants. On the other hand, plants also, they are alive with the help of human being and animals. So in this way, oxygen content in the air remains constant. If we cut trees, then this balance gets disturbed. If we cut trees, and our ecological balance will disturb here. Fresh air will not get more, which is required for us. Carbon dioxide is another important gas. Green plants use carbon dioxide to make their food and release oxygen. Carbon dioxide, this is another important gas. So green plants, they use this carbon dioxide in order to make their food and release oxygen. When they take, that means carbon dioxide, they used to release oxygen. Humans or animals release carbon dioxide. Human beings and animals, they used to release carbon dioxide. The amount of carbon dioxide released by humans or animals seems to be equal to the amount used by the plants, which make a perfect balance. The amount of this carbon dioxide which is released by humans or animals, it seems to be equal to the amount used by the plants, which make a perfect balance to that means both sides, whether it is towards the plant sides or human being and or animal sides. However, the balance is upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. See, this balancing, boys, it used to upset by burning of fuels such as coal and oil. It used to pollute our atmosphere, which is effect to our plants and trees. They add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each year. As a result, the increased volume of carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate. So, you see, boys, this burning of fuels such as coal and oil, okay, different vehicles like that, they used to add billions of tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere each and every year. As it is increasing, boys, so as a result of this, the increased volume of carbon dioxide is affecting the Earth's weather and climate, as it is increasing, okay, as the volume of this carbon dioxide, it is increasing, and that is why it is affecting the weather of our Earth, okay, and the weather and climate of our Earth. See again to the right margin of this page. Do you know this one also? You tick mark and you have to know this one, boys. When air is heated, it expands, becomes lighter. You must know this one. When air is heated, boys, it expands and it becomes lighter and goes up. Okay, cold air is denser and heavy. To compare with hot air and cold air is denser and it is heavy. That is why it tends to sink down. When hot air rises, cold air from surrounding area rushes there to fill in the gap. That is how air circulation takes place. So here it has mentioned when hot air it rises, cold air from surrounding area it rushes there. Okay, it occupied there to fill in the gap. That is how air circulation takes place. That is how air movement, and that means the movement of air it takes place. Then here it asks, read and ponder, is global warming a serious issue in today's world? You see, it has collected from different newspaper regarding global warming. It is mentioned here. You just get through this one. Structure of the atmosphere. Because now let us see structure. Okay, this structure of our atmosphere. Our atmosphere is divided into 5 layers. Here in the diagram which is given here, figure 4.2, layers of the atmosphere. You can see here, boys, our atmosphere it is divided. These are the divisions of our atmosphere. It is divided into 5 layers, starting from the earth surface. Okay, starting from our earth surface, the place where we build our houses, we live. Okay, you work. Starting from earth surface, these are Troposphere, Stratosphere, Mesosphere, Thermosphere and Exosphere. So these are the 5 layers, okay, of our atmosphere. You tick mark this and you must know it. Okay, you have to know the name of these 5 layers. How many layers are there? Our atmosphere, what are those? You have to know it and describe each of them. Description also you must know it. Now let us see the first one. Okay, that is the first layer, which is known as troposphere. You can see here, boys, in the picture it is given in the diagram. Troposphere, one layer you can see. This layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Troposphere, it is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometers. See, troposphere, why it is said the most important layer? It is because of, you see, boys, we all, the human being, we used to live, all the plants, animals, they sustain on this earth, on this layer only. Okay, so whatever crops or anything which that means we can find, these are present on the atmosphere, on the troposphere layer. This layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometers. If you go higher and higher, you will find that means this layer is up to 13 kilometers from the surface of the earth. The air we breathe exists here. Okay, the air which we used to breathe, it exists here in the troposphere. Almost all the weather phenomena like rainfall, fog and hailstorm occur in this layer. So in none of the other layer, that means this weather phenomena it occur. Okay, phenomena means effect or situation that is observed to exist or happen. Okay, so all weather phenomena such as rainfall, fog, and hailstorm occur in the troposphere only. Okay, so boys, if anybody asks you explain about troposphere, you have to write this paragraph. Okay, now come to the next one, that is stratosphere. Stratosphere, above the troposphere lies the stratosphere. See, just above the troposphere, as when we find, that means the limit of troposphere is finished. There what happened? You find another layer which is known as stratosphere. Above the troposphere lies the stratosphere. It extends up to a height of 50 kilometers. At first you find 13 up to 13 kilometers from the surface of the earth. You find a layer, and the name of that layer is troposphere. So just after that you find another layer. The name of that layer is called stratosphere. So this stratosphere, it extends up to a height of 50 kilometers. This layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomenon. See, this stratosphere, in this layer you will find what? Almost, that means it is free from clouds and associated, which are related with the clouds. Okay, rain, hailstorm, these are, that is not present here. Associated weather phenomena, these are not there, making conditions, okay, most ideal for flying aeroplanes, as weather phenomenon is not present there. Okay, this is the layer. It is ideal for flying aeroplanes. So boys, as soon as an aeroplane it fly, that means it used to reach in the stratosphere, and at the end, that means in that layer it used to fly to its destination. It is because of the troposphere it cannot fly long, as weather phenomenon is present there, clouds, rain, this thing. So it leave it and it goes higher than that, okay, above that weather phenomenon. So if anybody asks airplane flies in which layer, you have to say the stratosphere, or why an airplane fly in the stratosphere, or which layer is ideal for flying aeroplane, you have to say stratosphere. Why? Because weather phenomenon is not present there in the stratosphere. This is the reason you have to write. One important feature of stratosphere is that it contains a layer of ozone gas. So mark this one also, okay. One important feature of stratosphere is that it contains a layer of ozone gas. Ozone gas, it is a gas, okay, which contains the air. We have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. So we have learned, that means at the beginning of this chapter, how it protects us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. So this ozone layer, boys, if there is no presence of this ozone layer, the rays of the sun, it could directly fall on us, okay, and human being may suffer from skin cancer. Okay, it would be tremendous hot. So in one way, that means you have to say this ozone layer, it used to filter, okay, and that means some portion of this rays of the sun it allows to reach to us, okay, and remaining it back from there. Now let us see the third layer, that is called Mesosphere. Above stratosphere you find Mesosphere, another layer. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies above the stratosphere, okay. Mesosphere, it is the third layer of the atmosphere, and it lies above the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 80 kilometer. This there you see it extends up to the height of 80 kilometer. Then meteorites burn up in this layer on entering from the space. Then now thermosphere. In thermosphere, temperature rises very rapidly with increasing height. In thermosphere, temperature it rises very rapidly. Okay, with increasing height is when it that means height it is increases, temperature it rises higher and higher very rapidly. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It extends between 80 to 400 kilometers. This layer helps in radio transmission. Boys, ionosphere, ion is present there. So this layer, you see, it is helpful for us in radio transmission. Okay, for transmitting a radio program, this layer is helpful for us. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. Okay, actually radio waves transmitted from the earth, these are used to reflected back to the earth by this ionosphere only. Okay, now the next one is exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is known as exosphere. Among all these layer, boys, exosphere is the uppermost layer of the atmosphere. This layer has very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. So on this layer, it has very thin air. Okay, very thin air is there. So light gases such as helium and hydrogen, they used to float into the space from here. So this is about the structure of the atmosphere. Now let us see, boys, right margin, have a look again. For 10 days, note down weather report from a local newspaper. So and observe the changes occurring in the weather. I think most of your houses, your papa or parents, that means used to collect newspaper, boys. So there you see newspaper every day. Weather report used to mention there in the newspaper. So here it asks, you have to collect it. Okay, from the newspaper you collect, observe the changes which are occurring in the weather. You'll find, okay, weather every day they are not same. Weather and climate. Is it going to rain today? Will it be bright and sunny today? How many times have we heard this from anxious cricket fans speculating the fate of a one-day match? If we imagine our body to be a radio and the mind its speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. Here in the weather and climate topic we find, it asks, is it going to rain today? Will it be bright and sunny today? How many times have we heard this from anxious? Okay, anxious means showing worry. Cricket fans speculating. Speculating means contemplate the fate of a one-day match. If we imagine our body to be a radio and the mind is a speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. Fiddles means to move or handle with the hands or fingers. in a nervous way, and with its control knobs, it is used to low or high volume. We can see that means it has a radio, TV like that. Weather is this hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere. Whether it is the hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere. A lot of humid weather may make one irritable. See, when the day is a hot or humid weather day, it may make us irritable. Irritable means showing a tendency to be easily annoyed. We won't like this weather. A pleasant breezy weather may make one cheerful and even plan for an outing. Okay, a pleasant breezy means pleasantly windy weather. It may make one feel happy and even plan for an outing. Okay, to go outside. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. Whether it can change, okay, in a dramatic way from day to day. However, the average weather condition of a place for a long period of time represent the climate of a place. Here, weather it can change this dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather condition of a place, to know the weather of a condition, we need what? Longer period of time to represent here the climate of a place. Weather day by day we can know, but if we want to know the climate, we need longer period of time to wait. Now, do you understand why we have daily weather forecasts? Temperature. The temperature you feel every day is the temperature of the atmosphere. The temperature, hotness or coldness which you feel every day, it is the temperature of the atmosphere. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. If anybody asks you what is temperature, you have to say the degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. You mark it, okay? The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night but also from season to season. Temperature of atmosphere used to changes not only between the day and night, but it also changes from season to season. Summers are hotter than winters. Generally we find what? Summers, these are hotter than winter. Boys, one more thing, that means you have to see towards the right margin of this page. Do you know another one given here? You will be surprised to know that the earth receives only 1 in 2 billion parts of the sun's energy. Okay, only you see, only out of these 2 billion parts of the sun's energy it is received by our earth. So just say that means you know this one also. You have to know it, okay? If you don't know, come and read it. Okay, let us continue the remaining part of this temperature. We find what? Summers are hotter than winters. During summer, that means we find days are hotter to compare with the winter days. An important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is insolation. An important factor here which influences, which affect The distribution of temperature is insolation. Insolation means the amount of solar radiation reaching. Okay, the amount of solar radiation reaching, that is called insolation. Here see, insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. Okay, insolation, it is the incoming solar energy which obstruct by the earth. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the poles. The amount of insolation, it used to decreases, it goes down from the equator towards the poles. Therefore, the temperature decreases in the same manner. So in this way, temperature also it decreases in the same way. Now, do you understand why poles are covered with snow? Here I think, children, you understand why poles are covered with snow. As it has mentioned, the amount of insolation it decreases from the equator towards the poles, so that means towards the North Pole or South Pole. There, insolation it used to fall down. Okay, it goes down from the equator toward the poles, and that is why temperature it decreases in the same way. Now you understand why poles are covered with snow. If the Earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for some crops to grow. If the temperature of the Earth it rises too high, it would become too warm, okay, for some crops in order to grow. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. Temperature of cities it is much higher than that of the villages. The concrete and metals in buildings and the asphalt of roads get heated up during the day. The concrete means here not abstract, here pebbles like that, and metals in buildings and asphalt means tar, well, okay, tar of roads, it get heated up during the day. The heat is released during the night. It used to release during the night. Also, the crowded high-rise buildings of the cities trap the warm air and thus raise the temperature of the cities. Also, see here, the crowded high-rise buildings, especially the cities, trap the warm air, okay, and in this way it raises the temperature of the cities. Again, have a look left margin of this page. Do you know? Tick mark this one and learn by heart, boys, this one also. The standard unit of measuring temperature is degrees Celsius. It can ask, okay, what is the standard unit of measuring temperature? If anybody asks, you have to say the standard unit of measuring temperature is degrees Celsius. It was invented by Anders Celsius. Okay, this degrees Celsius, this device, it was invented by Anders Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Now come to air pressure. You will be surprised to know that air above us presses us with a great force on our bodies. So, boys, you'll surprised to know that air above us it used to presses us. okay, with a great force. It used to give pressure to us with great force on our bodies. However, we don't even feel it. But boys, whatever air it presses us, we can't feel it. This is because the air presses us from all directions and our body exerts in counter pressure. So it is because of the air it presses us from all sides of our body and exerts a counter pressure. Okay, exerts what? Opposite of this pressure. So you come on, mark this paragraph also, and you have to know the region of this. Okay, air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of air on the earth's surface. Air pressure, it is defined as the pressure exerted, means bring to bear by the weight of air on the earth's surface. As we go up the layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. So as we go higher and higher up, we find the layers, that means higher up the layers of atmosphere, there you will find the pressure, it goes down, it falls rapidly. The air pressure is highest at sea level. Come on, underline this one also. The air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. Horizontally means at right angles. Okay, the way of right angle, straightly. The distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. In those areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. This creates a low pressure area, and it used to create low pressure area there. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. Low pressure, it is accompanied or associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. In areas having lower temperature, the air is cold. In areas which have lower temperature, the air is cold here. It is therefore heavy, and that is why it is heavy there. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. Heavy air, it used to sink. It goes inside the water and it creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with clear and sunny skies. High pressure, it used to it is accompanied with clear and sunny skies. The air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. Air, it used to move from high pressure area to the low pressure areas. Then another fact it has given, do you know this one? Another second one, you see in this space, on the moon there is no air and hence no air pressure. Astronauts have to wear special protective spacesuits filled with air when they go to the moon. If they did not wear these spacesuits, the counter pressure exerted by the body of the astronauts would make the blood vessels burst. The astronauts would bleed there. Okay, so this fact also you have to know. Now let us see wind. Moving air is called wind. Okay, the movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure areas is called wind. Come on, mark this one also. Okay, it can ask what is wind. If it asks, You have to say the movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure areas is called wind. You can see wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. Children, you can see this wind at work as it blows dry leaves of different trees. Okay, dry leaves of different trees down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. Sometimes when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. Okay, sometimes when this wind it blows gently, you can even see it is blowing away smoke or fine dust. At times, wind can be so strong that it is difficult to work against it. Okay, when a strong wind it blows, but at times it can be so strong that it becomes difficult to a person to work against it, to opposite direction of that wind to work. It is very hard here. You must have experienced it is not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. Children, I think you have experienced, you know that it is not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. Okay, then see here again, left side. A wind is named after the direction from which it blows. Name of the wind it named after the direction from which it is blowing. For example, the wind blowing from the west is called westerly. Okay, westerly, easterly, like this you will find. So think of some other examples when strong winds have created problems for you. You think of that in some other examples. Okay, when strong winds have created problems for you. Winds can be broadly divided into three types. Winds we can categorize or divide it into three types. So these are permanent winds, seasonal winds, local winds. Tick mark these three also. Okay, what are these three types? Then what are the different types of winds? It can be asked, explain each of them, or it can be asked what is permanent wind. So the trade winds, westerlies and easterlies are the permanent winds. Okay, the trade winds which blows from western side and or eastern side are the permanent winds. These blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. So these winds it used to blow always throughout the year in a particular direction. Seasonal winds. These winds change their direction in different seasons. Seasonal winds they used to change their direction in different seasons. For example, monsoons in India. Monsoons, as example, blows. That means the wind it blows from sea to land. It is an example. Local winds. These blow only during a particular period of the day or year in a small area. Local winds it used to blow only during a specific period of the day or year in a small area. For example, land and sea breeze. Okay, as example, land and sea breeze. Breeze means gentle wind. Okay. Do you recall the hot and dry local wind of northern plains of India? It is called Lu. Okay, the say wind which blows there in hot and dry local that means area in the say northern plains. It is known as Lu. See, boys, cyclone and nature's theory has given here. You get through this, you read it. Moisture. When water evaporates from land and different water bodies, it becomes water vapor. When water evaporates from a land or different water bodies, it becomes water vapor. Moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. Moisture, that means in the air at any time, that is known as humidity. So what is humidity? You mark it and know it. When the air is full of water vapor, we call it a humid day. When the air we find it is full of water vapor, we call it a humid day. As the air gets warmer, its capacity to hold the water vapor increases, and so it becomes more and more humid. As the air gets warmer, its capacity in order to hold the water vapor it increases, and so it becomes more and more humid. On a humid day, clothes take longer to dry, and sweat from our body does not evaporate easily, making us feel very uncomfortable. So on a humid day, the day when that means it is full of humid, on that day, boys, clothes take longer to dry, and sweat of our body does not evaporate easily, making us feel very uncomfortable. When the water vapor rises, it starts cooling. The water vapor condenses, causing formation of droplets of water. When the water vapor it rises, it starts cooling. Okay, the water vapor condenses means to change from a gas or vapor to a liquid, causing formation of droplets of water. Clouds are just masses of such water droplets. So clouds, they are just the masses of water droplets. When these droplets of water become too heavy to float in air, then they come down as precipitation. When these droplets of water, okay, which is formed from the water vapor, okay, when it become too heavy to float in the air, then air cannot hold the air, then they come down as precipitation. Precipitation means it may be rain, snow, sleet, or hail, etc. Okay. Jet planes flying in the sky leave a white trail behind them. The moisture from their engines condenses. We see trails of this condensed moisture for some time when there is no air movement to disturb it. So we can see this, okay. Then boys, see towards the left margin of this page, figure 4.5. okay, different types of rainfall it has given here: cyclonic rainfall, then orographic rainfall, convectional rainfall, types of rainfall. That means you can know here, you have to know how to draw this, okay, practice this one. So precipitation that comes down to the earth in liquid form is called rain. Precipitation which comes down to the earth as liquid form, it is known as rain. Most of the groundwater comes from rainwater. See, most of this groundwater what we can see, these are mostly comes from rainwater. Plants help preserve water. Plants, it used to help to preserve water. When trees on hillsides are cut, rainwater flows down the bare mountains and can cause flooding of low-lying areas. When trees on the hillside are cut down, rainwater flows down the bare mountain and can cause flooding of low-lying areas. There it causes flood in the low-lying areas. On the basis of mechanism means parts working together in a machine, like that it is called mechanism here. On the basis of mechanism, on the basis of this process, there are three types of rainfall. Rainfall are of three types. So these are the convectional rainfall, the orographic rainfall, and the cyclonic rainfall. So diagram also it has given there, figure 4.5, as I have told you earlier. So this diagram, how to draw this, okay, you have to know, and very beautifully you have to draw the level diagram. Okay, cyclonic rainfall, orographic rainfall, and convectional rainfall. Rainfall is very important for the survival of plants and animals. Rainfall, it is very important, okay, for the survival of plants and animals to remain alive. These plants and animals, okay, rainfall is very much important. It brings fresh water to the earth's surface, and this rainfall is to bring fresh water to the surface of our earth. If rainfall is less, water scarcity and drought occur. If there is less rainfall, then water scarcity means shortage of water, and drought it will occur. On the other hand, if it is more, floods take place. See, excess rainfall it lead flood, and lack of water it lead drought. Drought means dried up everything. Okay, so another here fact it has given, do you know other forms of precipitation are snow, sleet, hail, which I have already told you earlier. So here is the end of the chapter. Thank you all.